difficulty, and please let me know if you need me to speak up. Again, I forget sometimes to
Hi,
project a little bit more.
Cindy, can
Hi.
you hear me?
Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
there is this person, Roro, who just keeps saying something. Can you hear her, or you're not able to?
No,
Oh,
I
you
don't
cannot?
hear her at all.
Oh,
And I also tried muting her when she first came in, just because we were talking as a group, and she didn't. So I'm assuming she can hear me. Is that it?
yeah, she can hear. She keeps speaking in the middle, and but you didn't respond, so I thought you were not able to hear her. That's
No,
why.
I can't. Uh-uh.
Oh,
I'm sorry. No,
oh,
I can't.
oh, that's
I,
strange. Roro,
yes.
can you please try to like disconnect and connect again? Because she cannot hear you, but we all can hear you. So that's a problem. Uh, because you keep speaking in between. Roro, can you hear me? Oh, I think she cannot hear me as well. She keeps saying hello. Oh, even
Okay.
Subi cannot hear her. Oh, this is strange.
Okay. Okay. So Rajendra, if you need me to speak up, don't forget to mention it. Suresh, if you have to break in and let me know.
Oh, she's
Um,
saying she's sorry that she didn't know that you are not able to hear her. But
that's okay.
can you tell her to reconnect, Cindy? Because she
Yeah.
cannot hear me.
Can you reconnect? Just log out and come back in, and sometimes that will fix the problem.
Her
You
name
know
is
what,
Roro.
Roro? Actually, I'm hearing a little faint echo. So why I can't hear her, I'm not sure, but I hear an echo of myself from someone, and I think she's the only one.
She's saying she can hear you, but you cannot hear her, and she cannot hear me as well.
Okay, and
Cindy, can you say her name? Can you say Roro? Can you please,
Roro,
can, can you
is it a
please
hard
disconnect
R
and
or soft R? Okay, Roro, can you log out and then log back in? Sometimes that fixes the problem, so if you could try that, that would be helpful.
okay, she said okay.
Okay,
Thanks. Wow,
wonderful.
this was
Okay,
the first time we had this issue. Uh,
yeah, that was different.
yeah, and Prel says to slow down a little. Just slow down a
Yes,
little. You were
yeah,
very fast.
yeah. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Pearl. Okay, so Serby wanted to go next. Thank you, Serby. So go ahead and jump on in there whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Okay, so here is a band. Actually, the thing that is annoying me, like it there is a road. I think they have set this whole like what you can say, like their whole band like in the middle of the road. Maybe their concert in the middle of the road, and so many people are there, and they are listening it, and there's so many instruments. I don't know name of like ev- everything, but there is a drum set, and there is a guitar, there is a microphone, and I think there is some DJ in the back, or there is a truck, and some sound system is there in the back, and in the side there are people sitting on the table, on the chair, and it is a very quiet and pleasant day, and I like the trees, the greenery around here, and it looks like a very like a little old city or town maybe. uh, Looked like it, and and there is a uniform in the this group has a uniform, white uniform, and I think the drummer is maybe a girl. It's only girl. Okay, and there is so much traffic there. And there is a parking area is also there in the on the road on the backside. Yeah, that's it, I think.
Is that it? Okay.
Okay.
No, no, go ahead. If you're still going, I'll wait.
I don't think I can do that.
That's okay. That was quite a bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's so many things. I can't even I can't even have names. Yeah, that's it. You can go now.
Okay. Thank you. That was very good. You had quite a bit in there. I like that you used the term concert. Um, a concert can have different meanings for different people depending on the kind of music that they prefer. Hello, Ahmed. Um, Sometimes we talk about the bandstand. I know you were looking for a word there, and even though that's kind of a permanent structure, it's all cement. Um, Sometimes we would refer to it as a bandstand because that's where the band stands. um, it's also would be their stage. Usually bandstands and stages are more temporary or they're made designed to be just a stage, say in an auditorium or something. But in this case, since they're performing there, it's still their stage. Um, you mentioned the drum set. We might also just say drums, but either way works. Guitar, the microphone. One thing I wanted to mention for the microphone.
Mhm.
Okay, Prel, no problem. Um, yeah, and I'll send you something too as well, Prel. Also with the microphone, I've seen it spelled different ways. And you had it correct. Microphone is the actual word, and so when we say it, when we shorten it to mic, we just spell it M-I-C. I've seen it spelled with a K and other things, which actually that changes it to somebody's name, which would be Mick when it's spelled like this. But when you're using it for a microphone, we just shorten it and just use the first three letters of that word. Um, you mentioned it's quiet and pleasant, and I, I know exactly what you mean, although with music playing, it may not be that quiet. But I think another word you might pick um, is the area is kind of a serene setting because everybody's kind of relaxed. But again, serene has that idea of being quiet. So you might just say possibly relaxed or enjoyable, very enjoyable um, setting, that kind of thing. Um, let's see, I'm looking to see. Oh, you mentioned the parking along there. We would call it street side parking or street parking, curbside parking, because the curb is where the sidewalk meets the street, and there's usually a step down. So we might say there's curbside parking there. Um, and as far as the road, I'm guessing the road must come around from somewhere. I don't see, oh, maybe behind those people there on the right. And that was nice that you noticed that because it does look like they're in the middle of the street. And I will say that here, when they're having a temporary event, sometimes they will block off the road and put a detour for traffic. Let me write that word. They will detour traffic to other streets and block off the road so that they have enough space to do something like this. So that is not uncommon, but because they're standing on something that's cement, I would say that's permanent. But that was a nice observation because it does look like it's right there in the road. And so that is something that gets done sometimes. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And we've had enough text. Let me scroll up. I think, I want to say Monzi was next. Is that right? Yeah, Monzi, go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah, hi everyone. What I see in the picture, I could see a white band performing. Uh, where there are two persons, actually three-person on guitar, and one is in black and white guitar, another two are in brown guitar, and one is on violin, and one is on keyboard, and one is with the drums. And the another one, I don't know the is it violin or something else. And I could see people passing by and stopping by to experience the performance by the band because if the backside of uh, people, the backside of band. Yes, I can see people waiting and just passing by people where just experiencing it. And what I understand is this is happening in front of some famous place in the city. Like I can see some structure with tombs in the background and some tall buildings as well in the background. Uh, and there are enough audience for the performance. So definitely they must be playing very good. The experience must be very good. And so there are few people who are looks like they already they are just passing by. They might have spent some time listening and then, or they are just they don't they are rushing for some work. And I remember the similar experience a few days back in my office where a famous band has come for the some famous band has come. And then that day in the evening, there was it was completely different environment. There was loud music in the premises of the company, and people were cheering up and were asking them for repeating their performance as it was something. It was so such things. Actually such activities happens in cities so that people can break the monotony of their daily life and daily routine and can, can get into some other extra um, some leisure activity for some for some time in a day. So yes, uh, so, that's what I see here. Thank you.
Thank you, Monzi. That was nice. And I like that you gave a personal experience um, about a situation like this. It's always nice to hear those. Um, One thing, when you were talking about your experience, you talked about how during the day it was one environment and in the evening it was another environment. And one thing that we would talk about is we would talk about the atmosphere. Hold on. Of a event like this, and it does definitely change when night gets to coming on and people get a little more active, enjoying themselves. Sometimes they change where this town I was from. Sometimes they would change the groups. as far as who played when, just because they might be a little more lively and create a more of a party atmosphere. So atmosphere, even though it talks about the air and the sky and all that, it also has to do with kind of the feel of an environment that has people in it. So that was nice. Before I go on, I want to do this before I forget, because somebody mentioned the word bald or hairless. Here, hairless is going to be pretty much no hair. Bald, on the other hand, some people, if they don't have hair just on the top, but they've got it down around the ears, we would still call them bald, not so much hairless. Is bald a decent word? Yeah, it kind of depends on the person. If he's self-conscious about it, yeah, and you say it in a derogatory way, yes, it could be derogatory. If you talk about it with somebody who really doesn't have a problem with their baldness, my dad's one of those. He balded very early, and he's used to it. It doesn't bother him at all. In fact, when they gave him a nickname on the CB radio, his handle was Bald Eagle, just because of it, and it didn't bother him at all. So it wasn't insulting for him. It was, they tease a little, but for the most part, they don't. So it really depends on who you talk to and how you say it as to what's offensive as far as that goes. And a lot of people here actually, especially some of the young ones, my son was one of them, he actually shaved his head. Even though he did not have a receding hairline, he actually preferred to be bald. So it's not that uncommon here as maybe it is in some other places. It's just a matter of choice, I guess. But anyway, so that would be a military cut. Serby, let me ask, when you say military cut, because we do have that too, in that case they call it a buzz cut. And usually there's at least a fraction of an inch of hair. It's not truly bald. Okay, it's not bald. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Whereas people like my son actually would use a razor, like you would use to shave your beard, he would actually use that. So it kind of depends, and there's other kids, young men that do that as well. They're not the majority, but it's there. So that's my answer to you on there. Now, getting back to what Manzi was saying, I like that you noticed that they were using different guitars here. The brown guitars are called acoustic guitars. Let me put that in here. Okay, and they are made simply by the sound that comes out of the guitar itself. The one that's black and white is going to be your electric guitar. And as I'm sure you all know, those have a cord, as you can see in the picture, and that cord brings the sound out of a speaker. Okay, give me 1 second. Creative ideas, thank you. Hold on. I like, Manzi, that you also put in the kind of what people are doing in the picture, how they're, maybe stop and then go on with their day or whatever. You mentioned tombs in the back. I think the word you're looking for on that building straight in the middle is pillars, or in this case, we would actually call them columns. That building has columns because they're attached at the top and the bottom. So am I correct? That is what you were talking about, is the long circular things? Yeah, okay. A tomb, just so everybody knows, a tomb is actually something that's going to be a grave marker, so that you would find in a cemetery. So let's see. And I think actually that's all I have for you. So that's it. Oh, tomb, yes. Column. Okay, here's column. It has an M and an N, excuse me. But when we pronounce it, the N is going to be kind of silent, so don't stress over that N at the end. I have no idea. Wow, Prel, that's quick. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so column and then pillars. And That's another word. Sometimes a pillar, though, isn't attached to anything at the top. We also had another session once where we looked at a monolith. And that's something you can look up there, or maybe Suresh can put the definition on that. Okay, and you were asking about the one in the back, kind of looks like a violin. Let me write that one down. This is in the same class of instruments as a violin. Now, I did try to look up that particular item. Oh, yes, hui. The word is large, with a soft G sound, large. Large. Okay, anyway, that violin-looking thing that's big, usually we would just call it a cello, and as far as I can tell, that is still a cello. Even though there's not an H in that word, I don't know where the word comes from, but we do pronounce it as if it had a CH sound. So cello. And normally when we see a cello, somebody is sitting down and he has it between his knees, and the strings come out a little bit further than it looks like that one does. But as far as I did just some quick research, as far as I can tell, that's still a cello. So that's about all I can give you for input on that. And I'm going to mention too, on the word violin, we have the same instrument that gets used in a different way. It has it gets played with a different sound, and depending on the sound, like a violin might be more classical music. We also have something called a fiddle. Prel, I can't right now. Let me just finish with this session, but I'll send you a message a little bit later. Okay. Thanks, Prel. Anyway, so this here, what was I saying? The fiddle. Oh, a fiddle, it's the same instrument, it's just used in a different way. It's used in square dancing and in jazz sometimes, maybe some bluegrass, some different types of music, and it usually has a faster, livelier beat, whereas the violin, again, it's the same instrument, it's just used differently for a different type of sound. And it does take a talent to use it either way. So now I'm not going to give any more definitions because there is another instrument there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll see if somebody else wants to pick up on that. So the next person we have is that Kushni, if I remember correctly? Did I see a text there somewhere that the next one is actually Kushni? Kushni? Suresh, can you help me with the name? I have no idea how to say it the way it's spelled.
Yeah, I
Kushni.
think it's Kushni. I think she's away. Kushni, are you there? Okay, maybe she's away. Next, I think
Okay.
Priya can go. Creative ideas. Whoever wants to go next, please say it in the chat box so that we can have that order.
And Suresh, I'm going to say this one more time because Rajendra, I know that you have trouble hearing me, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to just repeat what Suresh said. If excuse me, if you want to take a turn, put your name in the chat box, and that way we get you on the list. And I'll do what I can to work with you on your hearing. Okay? Creative ideas, no. Somebody help me. What is your name? Pia? Pia. I apologize. Pia, are you there?
I think she's also away.
Okay.
Everybody seems to be away. Roro, can you hear us now? Can you hear Sindee? Can you say something?
Okay, I hear you. I hear you very well.
And I can hear you now. Wonderful.
Okay.
Would you like to take a chance? Okay.
I wanted to speak about the picture. But I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Is it correct to call this picture a performance or a
Yes.
concert?
Actually, we could use either word. The concert would be the event itself, whereas the performer is going to be the person playing the instrument, or maybe the person who is singing if they have singing, and it looks like they do. So, and hello again, Ahmed. Um, so yes, you can use them. It just depends on what you're talking about. The event would be the concert.
Okay, so it is a concert, and there are many players.
Go ahead.
Did we lose her, Roro?
Laurel, we don't have your sound again.
Oh, I think
Oh,
we lost her. And can you mute everyone else? Like I'm
um,
hearing sound somewhere. I think it's Mansi who is not on mute. Ah, thank you.
Monsi?
Please, everyone
Wonderful.
whoever is not speaking, please be on mute because it just makes the stream. Uh,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
it
we
makes it
lost Roro.
easier for me to hear and for everyone. Um, okay, Kushni, you said you're back. Roro, we have lost you. So if you get your mic working again, we'll come back to you and see if it's working. And for now, we'll go ahead with Kushni. Kushni, you were away, so go right ahead and take your mic off mute and describe this photo for me. Did we lose you again? Kushni? Oh, your mic is on mute, Kushni. Take your mic off mute. There you go. Go ahead and speak. Nope, it's back on mute. Okay. Well, if you want to try rejoining again, I'll wait for you if you think that'll help your mic. Pia, are you there? Okay, Suresh, you want to, uh, Pral, you wanted to try? Okay, and Rajendra.
Do you listen? Do you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, I
Yeah.
can. Thank you.
Um. Uh, is 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 I describe the
Okay, you're breaking up a little bit. It's almost like you're turning your head. So make sure you face your mic. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear you. Go ahead and give it a try again.
mm, okay. This is uh, in the middle of the photo. You can see a band playing. There are 7 members in the band. At the bottom, you can see the audience watching them. In the background, we can see vehicles are moving in the road. Uh, in the top left hand corner and also in the top right hand corner, you can see building, big buildings. On the left hand, on the right, you can see paved trees near the road. That's enough, I think. Is this enough?
That, okay, that's fine. It's entirely up to you how much you speak. Yeah, so far, Kushni, I cannot hear you. Um, okay, so I'm going to give you one word to practice, and it's going to be vehicle. Vehicles. Can you repeat that?
What
Vehicle?
is
Vehicle?
ve- ve- vehicles?
There you go, vehicles. Sometimes that H got a little bit lost that because it's got more than one syllable kind of in the middle there. I think you lost the H there. So vehicle, you did much better this time. Um, but otherwise, everything was actually pretty good. And I like that you mentioned the trees. You notice it's bordering the road there. It was good, and then you've got the buildings and all that. So it was good. Thank you. And
Vehicles. Vehicles. I'm right.
vehicles.
Vehicles.
Yes, vehicle. There you go.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
actually, yeah, and actually, Suresh has the pronunciation up here. Although I would probably put the L closer. There you go. Vehicle. I
Yeah.
heard that word vehicle in a game. Yes, a vehicle, that would be your car, your van, your truck, your anything that moves you. So, okay, very common word. So, thank you. Thank you for joining in with us. I know it's difficult to hear me. Uh, Kushni, you want to try again? You just put your mic on mute.
Unmute or mute?
There you are. There you are. I can barely hear you, but I can hear you. Are you there?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, as long as you speak up, I think we'll be okay. So go right ahead, Kushni.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, go ahead. Did you want to describe the picture?
Yes, I want to.
Okay, go ahead.
uh, I'm saying is very beautiful place, and there are lots of people, and there are musical people, and uh, they are seven. Mm, they were with white clothes, and, and they are playing. They are playing, for example, guitar and electronic guitar, and drums. And on front of them, there are lots of people are sitting and watching them. Behind them, uh, there are lots of cars and trees and buildings. And I think one of them is a woman. She is playing drum. That's it.
Okay. And just so everybody knows, don't be afraid to tell me you're done, um, because sometimes someone's just thinking and I don't want to interrupt. So don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm done. And thank you, Pia. Good. We'll get to you here in just a second. Thank you for continuing to try. Um, okay, and actually, I'm going to mention this word playing. They're playing musical instruments. I'm saying it because originally, or the first time you said it, it came through as the word plying, which plying, to ply something, is different than the word play. But the second time that you said it, it came through much better as playing, so I think you're fine. Now, this is one thing that I want to mention because I hear this a lot on this word clothes, and the word is white, and you corrected yourself. You did great. So white clothes. A lot of people are pronouncing that E in their clothes, and we don't. When we say it, it's kind of a softer TH sound, so it's just clothes. I know that kind of would probably be easier to say if we pronounce the E, but this word is also a word, and that's cloths. And that is just a piece of fabric, maybe a washcloth or something like that. Whereas clothes is the stuff that we're wearing. So really the difference is going to be in how you pronounce the O. In clothes, that's actually why the E is there, because it tells us that's a long O sound. So it's clothes, whereas without that E at the end, it's cloth, or cloths. So I know that gets really confusing, but I just wanted to mention that because it is very common to pronounce it the way that you did. We just don't happen to pronounce it that way, and I'm sorry that gets kind of confusing sometimes, and I understand that. But you did a great job, and noticing the different things. So far, that last instrument there, nobody has mentioned it. I'm not even sure. Thanks, Suresh. Oh, which one is it? Are you asking me that? And just so you know, what Suresh put up there, he's got clothes or clothes. It should have a TH sound in there. It's very gentle, but don't be surprised if you hear it without them pronouncing it, just because we tend to slur things. But it should have the TH in there. But because it is kind of hard to do sometimes with the plural, some people will kind of slur that TH sound. Pia. Pia, you were going to go ahead and give it a try. I don't know if anybody sees, and the musical instrument that I'm talking about is right there between the acoustic guitar player and the electric guitar player, and it's on a stand. Nobody's playing it, but I'm just wondering if anybody has noticed it or knows the name. If not, I'll give it to you at the end.
Keyboard. It's a
You go
keyboard.
right ahead. Go ahead, Pia.
Hi everyone.
Good to see you. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to describe this picture as best as I can. Uh, I'm not pretty sure about the places. This is like I think it's like a downtown or near the society or neighborhood, because I can see that on the right side the speed limit is 15. So I'm just pretty sure about it's like a university place, or it's like a I'm not sure about this, but yeah, I can see that the speed limit on 15 on the right side. And the second thing, I can see that the seven people who are playing the orchestra, and four, three people are playing the guitar, and it's a U.S. Navy band, because the U.S. Navy dress code is like white. So they are wearing the white dress, and I can see that a trolley over there just behind the person who is sitting with piano, who is playing the piano on the left side. So that's why I'm pretty sure it's a U.S. Navy band. And I can see that some people who they are enjoying the orchestra, lots of people sitting the bottom side, and I can see that something writing on the something writing on stairs, appointed limit, keep, and all these things. uh, I'm not sure about the exactly thing what is this, but yeah, and I can see that a parking structure on the right side, the on the curb side, the street, and some people are sitting on the table, on the chair on the left side, and some people are walking over there, and Yeah, and one of the girl I can see that she's playing the drum. I'm not pretty sure what I need to call
You got
this
it. That's it.
instrument.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. And she's smiling, and yeah, and I can see that it's look like a coffee shop, but I'm not sure. I can see that a seven digit number. So I think it's a coffee shop on the right side where I can see that the speed limit was 15, and I can see that some tree on the right and the left side and some street light. Uh, and it's look like a I can see that the front of it's look like a library or something, or I'm yeah, I think so. And yeah, but yeah, it's a US Navy brand orchestra band, I guess. Okay, that's it in my side. Thank you.
Thank you. That was good. And you must have some incredible eyesight because I still don't see the speed limit sign. Um, but my eyesight is poor. I'll tell you right now. So that doesn't mean a whole lot.
I just want to say something. Actually, Suresh sent the high quality pictures, so I just zoom it and to see try to see about.
Okay.
This is the reason my eyesight is good. You can say that.
Good, good.
I'm
Okay,
not able to
yes.
see this picture who you guys are play on the hangout, so I'm not pretty sure about like I can't see exactly what is the thing is about like, so I just zoom it out and then
No,
you can see that. Yeah.
that's awesome. And actually, we usually try to put it up so that you can get a clear picture. So I'm glad that you did that. And this is not the first time that someone in session with me has noticed something that I can't find or I can't see well. So that's awesome that you brought that out. Thank you.
Actually,
Um,
I had the same things to see here in US. So yeah, this is the reason I know this the guys who wearing the white dress. So yeah, this is the US Navy dress. This is the thing. First, I caught this. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, the information I have is that this is a Navy band. So it was nice that you noticed that and brought that out. That was awesome. Okay, um, and the drums, that is the correct word for what we're saying. And Serbi, I just want to mention I do see your comments, so thank you. And I also see you, Rajendra, and I'm going to go ahead and address everybody. Yes, we would say keyboard for what he's playing. Piano is usually the big wooden thing that's the sound comes out differently, whereas this is electrical. So that's going to be called a keyboard. Hold on one second. Yeah, Rajendra, I understand that. I will tell you, just so everybody knows, there are some people here that are looking for an American accent. The other reason that we use an American accent is because I'm a volunteer and that's what I have. I have never been to the UK. If I know something or if somebody else brings it up, um, like yesterday, yesterday when we had the difference between airplane and aeroplane. Um, yeah, I'm not done with you, Priya. Don't worry, or Pia. I apologize. There's another girl here called Priya, and I'm getting it mixed up. I apologize. Anyway, um, that's why we're using the accent that we have. Is just because that's what I know. So that's why we're using American accent. If somebody from the UK or anywhere would like to get on and donate their time and hold these kinds of sessions, sure, I would love to have help where they can do their own thing. That's great. But and if your teachers are saying you should only use British English, I apologize for that. There's just not much I can do about it because I don't know the English. In fact, I made a correction. I'm going to mention this. I made a correction to someone early on when I was on the site that we don't say maths. We never say maths. We never do. We will say mathematic or mathematics. We rarely use that term, but when we say the word math, it's always without the S. But I did talk to someone on Speak Alley who was from the UK and asked him about that, and he said, oh no, they always use the S. And that's why I was hearing so many people using it with the S, because they were probably learning it from there. So that's, you know, I wouldn't be the one to advise you on British English, because obviously I would get it wrong at least some of the time. I can only tell you, and that's why I'm constantly telling people where I'm from and try to keep that in mind, because even here in America, sometimes a term will change depending on what part of the country you're in. For the most part, it's the same, but the accents will definitely change, and sometimes the terminology will change. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So I'm just here to help how I can. All right, so piano, keyboard, we got that. Thank you for noticing the water bottles. I do see one back there, and that was a good eye because I had not seen that. Suresh, if you want to take a turn, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about that other instrument. Okay. First of all, you also mentioned that it's probably downtown. I like that you noticed that, and that was very astute. Because here in the straight back in the middle where the columns are at, that is oftentimes a courthouse or sometimes of an old building that you find in our downtown areas. I have a picture, if you scroll down through my posts here on Speak Alley, you'll see the Prescott Courthouse. It's an old building that is similar to that. So that was a good observation there, and being how they have this whole area here for people to sit and gather, and they've got the trees and the steps and all that, and the tall buildings. It probably is business, not residential, but that's only a guess, and that doesn't mean that there isn't some of both in there. I really couldn't tell you. Orchestra, that's another word. This would be something we would call a band. Whereas an orchestra might have more of your classical style music, and there might even be a lot more of them, but that all depends. You'll find other types of instruments as well, maybe some horns, because this is basically the drum, the keyboard, and stringed instruments. But again, you know, how many would be in that orchestra? It might still be very small with only a few people. It's mainly the type of music that they're going to be playing as to what we call them. Let's see. Again, coffee shop, good eye. I didn't see it. Okay, back to this last thing, because I think that's the last here. Okay, music system. Before I go to that instrument, we actually would use the term, music system is fine, but we would talk about the sound system, and that's going to include everything that you see there. You know, your speakers and wiring, the whole getup that you need to produce this music. So either one would work, but commonly it would be sound system for us at least. Now this one here, between the acoustic guitar player and the electric guitar player, you'll see it on a stand, and as far as I can tell, and it's the only thing I know of that looks like that, and you don't see a lot of it, or a lot of those, but you do see them. It's called a banjo, and it has a very distinct sound, different than a guitar. It's played a little differently. Because they have a banjo there, I'm going to guess that the guy on the violin probably knows how to do some fiddle music, because if you were to put him with somebody playing the banjo and the type of music that typically gets played with the banjo, he would be playing fiddle music. What he's playing right now with the cello in the background and everything, it could be more classical. He could be playing it like a violin. I'm really not sure, but my guess is going to be fiddle. And I think I put that in there, but if not, there's the word fiddle. Again, a fiddle and a violin, same instrument, different sound, just depends on how it's played. Okay, I think that's that's it for today. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. If I did, put them again in the chat box and I'll address it real quick before I go. But I do want to thank everybody for joining me today. It's so nice to hear everybody's input. There's always so many different perspectives that I really do enjoy talking with everyone. Rajendra, please don't be afraid to tell me to speak up. Prel, don't be afraid to tell me to slow down. I'll send you something here in a little while. And I hope to see everyone again on Saturday. There's probably going to be a session again tomorrow, but you'll need to check the calendar for that. And we'll try to get something up a little bit sooner on the trending page or on the blog showing pictures or topics for discussion. I apologize for getting it so late today. So we'll work on being a little more timely with that. So, Manzi, did you have something to say? You got your
No.
mic on. Oh, okay, you turned your mic on. I thought maybe you had something to say. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and make some notes. Thank you. And you folks have a great evening. And thanks for joining me. And we'll see you tomorrow or Saturday, whichever one you can make. That would be great. Friday and Saturday. Okay. Well, you got my schedule, so don't forget those schedules are in GMT or UTC time, so you need to convert them to your time zone. That was just the easiest way for us all to try to do that. So we'll talk to everyone later, and feel free to stay in the session, talk with each other, get some more practice in, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.
Bye,
Okay.
Sindee.
Bye.